Creator of all that is, it is in gratitude that we stand. It is in our standing that we feel your hand. Our size is small, for we are one, but we are large, for we are not alone. Our heartbeats prove tirelessly of your love, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlie. My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is my card. I hope you can read that. Sometimes the print turns around backwards when you read it. Um, Four of us today, a court, our civilian court of record, for our Article 3, Amendment 7 common law court, and as investigators for our grand jury, visited the Washington County Courthouse today. We entered from the courthouse side on the park, what's kind of the back door now. Most people enter on the First Street entrance. So we entered there, and one of the things I was looking for was the Washington County Public Bulletin Board, which they're required to have, and it has to be identified, and there has to be a way to do it, just like we did it in Marion County. We already know. And nobody at the Washington County Courthouse, at the information desk, clerks that came out of offices, uniformed cops, clerks behind glass windows in several different offices. No supervisor was available, and nobody knew which one of all of the bulletin boards was the Washington County Public Bulletin Board. But there was one that had a lot of documents posted on it, and the clerk said that that was controlled by the judge. Only the judge could give permission to put that up. And I'm going, God. So the reason we're there is for Farwell. Farwell filed a small claims court in the Justice Court on Murray Boulevard probably a month or so ago now. The city of Beaverton would not provide him with information that they were required to provide him in a specific amount of time, so it's incontrovertible evidence that they did not fulfill their obligation. Small claims, and I think he was asking $8,000. Pay $37.50. I served the papers for him, and it was done. The city of Beaverton decided that they want to escalate that to the circuit court in Hillsborough. The circuit court in Hillsborough, we were there today. This is all minutia to most people, but the court we visited today, the clerk behind the window on that court said, "We're the state. We sublet space in the county courthouse for this court. This is a state court. The Circuit Court of Washington County is a state court, therefore governed by the court administrator." The name used to be Kingsley Click, and it's now Nancy Kozar. She's responsible for administering the court. That court must be, according to our knowledge, an Article 7 amended court. A court that came into being by fraud. So we're into that court through the small claims court. Hallelujah. And either myself or Richard will be counsel to Farwell. And we're taking it to them. So they want to collect $150 from Farwell for him to be the defendant against the plaintiff, who is the city of Beaverton. So the city of Beaverton is bringing claim in the circuit court, which is a state court, not a county court, a state court, which is Article 7 amended, a bogus jurisdiction since November 8th, 1910. So that's who we're facing across the glass. And we know that we are required to have an Article 7 original court. That court must have a proper oath to the proper Constitution with God included. That's the court that we are required to have. Therefore, they got to furnish it. Now, we'll see if they can do that. I don't think they can. I think they'll have to forfeit. But in any case, while we're in the building doing that, we stopped by the family court, spoke to them. They're not receptive. They really aren't. They ask questions, and when they get the answer, they get all huffy. But a person that walked through the door and listened to my short rant while she was going up to do her business with the family court applauded, and Cynthia gave her a card. So we're not alone out there. And we're carrying it forward another step. So a few weeks ago, however long, 10 days, whatever, we served papers in the circumstance of Michelle to the Hillsborough sheriff. And while we were talking to the district attorney's office, who was not forthcoming at all, he stood on the far side of the glass, would not identify himself by name, said he was a deputy district attorney. And I said, good, let me see some identification, let me see your oath of office. What do you got to prove who you are? You won't even come out from behind the glass to talk to our court. There's 4 people here to talk to the district attorney, and he sends you, and you hide behind the glass. And sitting in the waiting room with us is a young deputy sheriff, strong, good-looking man. Cook was his last name, Koch. Same name as the undersheriff of Washington County. He was sitting there. I struck a conversation up with him. He was amiable. I gave him a card, and everything was going along well. He was a witness to the whole conversation with the deputy district attorney. And it was confrontational. I'm a confrontational old man going up against the de facto government that should not be, and he won't come out from behind the glass. He's a coward. And in my talking with him, and he said I was being abusive. And what in the hell are these candy asses calling abusive? I didn't say one bad word to that guy. And I got 3 witnesses there to testify. I never said a bad word to him. I talked loud and I talked strong to him, and I was definitely aggressive and I was confrontational. And he represents a criminal enterprise. And I told him so to his face. So what? Deal with it. And the way they dealt with it was, he says, there'll be somebody here to take care of you. What was that? I had my hearing aids in and everything. And they sent 6 cops. They weren't cops. They were all deputy sheriffs, all dressed in black with the bulletproof vest and the camera. And they say, I have my camera on you now. You're being recorded. Good. If Brandon was there, he would have been recording them. But Farwell took pictures of all their name tags. I thought them to be rude. I thought one of them to be an obnoxious clown. Uh, they were led by a female who was so grumpy she wouldn't even say her first name. Good size, maybe 5'8", 140, 150 pounds. Good sized woman. And she definitely had the respect of the group that was with her. But I didn't see any emblems of authority on her, like sergeant stripes or anything like that. But we were excluded from the office of the district attorney. And then they even made us get on an elevator and leave the entire 3rd floor. I guess the entire 3rd floor is sublet to the DA. I don't know. But they put us on an elevator and we went to 1 and got off. They wanted us to go immediately out of the building, and I wasn't having that. I was going to walk across the building and go out the other door where I came in. And can you imagine that? 2 women, Farwell and me, and they sent 6 uniformed, fully tacked up deputy sheriffs to protect a guy hiding behind a window. What the hell kind of a situation are we dealing with here? I don't know. So then we went across the building and I went up to the 2nd floor because I know who the court administrator for Washington County is. His name is Richard Mulmer. And I went up to his office, and his office was in the same place. His name is still on the door. They admitted that he was still the one, and the door's locked. You can't open it, and they won't answer a knock. And I knocked very forcefully on that door, and nobody would respond. So I pinned my card in the crack of the doorknob and left. But when I went upstairs, there was 3 cops that followed me, and I didn't even know them, and I didn't ever see them. I walked down the hall, did my business, walked down the hall again, went down the stairs, and I never saw a cop. But 3 of them followed me. That's interesting. So Charlie's going to file on fluoride into the Justice Court on Murray Boulevard into Washington County. And I think that they're going to buck that one up to the circuit court, which is a state court, which is not Article 7 original. It's a bogus court de facto. And we will have arrived at the place we would really like to be, where they have to take note. So there'll be a claim of cognizance filed with them. They'll get notified by our court. All of those deputy sheriffs will be notified by our court. We'll all agree on exactly what it was, but at minimum, we were denied due process, denied the ability to contract. We were there to contact and contract with the district attorney for Washington County in his office, and he refused to send anybody that would negotiate, and they excluded us from their office. Now, that's not due process, folks. It really isn't. So we have to take care of that. So basically, that's the after action report. Unless Cynthia has something to offer, or I remember something in the next minute or two. Afterwards, we had a little something to eat, drank a beer in a nice warm afternoon. It tasted very good. Good, genial company. And then we rode home, split up and went home, and everybody made it. And I yield.
Thank you, Ron. That was a good report.
Good, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep. I do want to add that we had 6, but when we...
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.